Welcome back, Virtual Learning Hybrid folks. It's Tuesday, September 29th. It's 8:35 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And let me slow down here for just a second because what we have here, because there will be some of you white folks, you white day folks, watch this video on Wednesday, and you'll be like, wait a second, I've already taken the vocab quiz, and that can't be my deadline. I will change these deadlines for you tomorrow. This video right now is addressing my virtual students on Tuesday, September 29th. So those of you who are virtual in White Day on Wednesday, September 30th, these due dates will be obviously shifted by one day. All right, so don't freak out. I'm not going to make a new video because it's the same content. My Green Day kids are always in the lead. They'll be the individuals who are doing these things first. White Day folks will then repeat those. So before we get started on To Kill a Mockingbird, cold read stuff as well. Two reminders there at the bottom. One, when you're here this week, you want to pick up a novel because you don't want to read the PDF, I'll make those available to you. If you say, you know what, I'm good with the PDF, I don't want to worry about losing the book, that's fine as well. I just personally am a person, I like to be able to have it in my hands so I can look at it. But that is up to you and what you decide. If and when you say, hey, I want a book, that book is yours. It is your responsibility, and you're not obviously to share it with other people. I can't loan you books when you come in, just with all this COVID stuff going on, all right? You get one if you so desire it. If you don't, PDF is all good. Second reminder, note 2 there at the bottom. All missing work is due this Friday, October 2nd at 3 p.m. This includes tests and quizzes. When you are physically present in the building this week, I am pulling up Power Schools and saying, Johnny, you still have vocabulary quiz 2 or multiple choice practice 1. You didn't do those things. They are counting as missing zeros right now. You're doing them today, whether you are prepared or not. So be proactive, advocate for yourselves, look at Power School. I sent you a message if you're missing these things. If Anthem essays are out, those are obviously dinging you quite a bit as well. So look, missing work, all due Friday, October 2nd. 3 p.m. And again, people, I don't have a magical way to know that you submitted work unless you let me know. Very simple. Message me your missing work. Message me once you've completed a quiz on Canvas so I can get in and adjust that for you. That said, what you're looking at here on what's my left side of the screen, it might be your right. I don't really know how the mirror works on the old recording device, but you'll notice students physically present in class today and tomorrow on Tuesday and Wednesday. You will complete your cold read quiz. We're going to do it in the very beginning. There's nothing you can do. It's just a cold read. You can't really prepare for it. You're going to read and you're going to answer some questions. All right, it'll be set up as a quiz. It'll be scored as a quiz grade. We will then begin To Kill a Mockingbird background activity 1. So you'll notice, even if you are virtual, this is what you will be working on today. Naturally, you will not do the cold reading class today. If you are a Green Day folk, you'll do that on Thursday. If you are looking at this and you're saying, you know what, these deadlines are weird because I'm a White Day dude, or dudette, if that's a thing. Yes, yours will be due, obviously, a day later than that. I'll adjust this accordingly. All right, just same video, same content. And then we're going to start To Kill a Mockingbird in class on Thursday and Friday. So before those dates, Green Day folks, your quiz will be due Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. White Day folks, this will change to Thursday. All right, I just want it in before you come in that next day, prepared to kind of get in, and we're going to do chapters 1 through 4 the first day. My guess is after that cold read, we'll have time to at least get 1 chapter, if not 2 of those chapters done, leaving you the rest to read for when we come back from fall break. That said, I want to walk you through, and again, this is what my students will be doing on Tuesday and Wednesday, both virtually and physically present in class. I want to walk you through this background information research day To Kill a Mockingbird Harper Lee. Before I do that, I kind of want to explain to you my rationale why I like to do this every year. So it's a wonderful novel. Every year I have students who, and it's kind of depressing, but they say, Mr. McClung, I've never really liked reading a book before. Some say I've never read a book from beginning to end. I love this one. And I've taught this novel lots and lots of semesters. I get something new out of it every time. I love it. It's wonderful. Written by Harper Lee, and she sets it in the 1960s in Alabama. So for us to truly understand the happenings and be able to relate to the characters here, we need to have understandings of what is going on in the world, specifically in the South, in the 1960s. Harper Lee, the author, loosely bases this story on her own childhood. She narrates this from the perspective of Jean Louise Finch. She just goes by Scout, is our narrator. So it will be told in the first person point of view. All right. She creates this fictional character, and Scout takes us through the happenings of her childhood, and then later some of the darker things that are going on in the second half of the book. So most people will say you kind of have a shift in the middle here between childhood innocence and then the evils of the world, if you will. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. But before we do that, I want you to have some knowledge of what's going on in the world during this time. So for much of you, history buffs, many of you, this may be review. That said, you are going to create a 10-question multiple choice quiz on background information to be understood and learned before we read To Kill a Mockingbird. I have categorized this with 5 things. 1, Harper Lee, the author of the book. I would like you to learn a little bit about her. 2, the civil rights movement. Article below kind of summarizes that a little bit. 3, the Great Depression. Give you a hint. It wasn't just a time when there aren't any Kleenexes anywhere. People were sad, but why were they sad? I'm going to have you read a little bit about that. The Great Migration is one that maybe you are not as familiar with as these others. And then lastly, just the word courage. What does it mean to be courageous, and why might that be a theme? We'll learn eventually from the novel. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You are going to use the 5 articles here below, and you are going to create a 10-question multiple choice quiz, a fact-finding quiz that I or one of your peers could complete if he or she had access to these 5 articles, which we all do. What I've done over here is I have copied and pasted all of these things here. So here's your Harper Lee article. It's fairly short. Talks to you about our author here of To Kill a Mockingbird. I don't care how you want to pair this up. So if you are a math person, you understand that if I'm writing 10 questions and I have 5 articles, 10 divided by 5 is 2. Maybe you want to keep it simple and you say, yeah, I'm just going to do 2 questions for each of these 5 resources. Maybe you're like, you know what, I'm not really that interested in the author. I'm just going to write 1 question about her, and I'll have 3 about the civil rights movement, 3 about the Great Depression, 1 about the Great Migration, 2 about courage. That's up to you, all right? But I am asking that you have at least 1 question from each of these 5 topics in your 10-question multiple choice quiz. So I always like to try to give some examples here. So I have information from these 5 articles. Let's talk about one example question that you could write, okay? So these are supposed to be things that I could pretty easily find in these articles, right, if they're at my disposal here, and they are. Here's one example. Where was Harper Lee born? All right, she was born in Monroeville. So I'm either going to put the correct answer first, bold it, highlight it, change the color of it, whatever you would like. And then I have to have some decoy answers. Orlando, Montgomery, and Hawaii. She was not born in those places. Question 2, if you want, you could go with in what field did Harper Lee's father work? You'll notice over here, her father was a lawyer. So he was in the law field. We could maybe say milkman. It's a real job. Farmer. And let's go with electrician. And then again, indicate somehow. You just want to put it first. That's fine. The correct answer there. All right. You are going to have a total of 10 questions on this quiz. And this quiz should be set up so one of your classmates, once I shuffle the answers maybe, could take it. Okay. Here are your other topics. And these are in order here on the sheet. I have them here on my screen as well. I'm going to pop that Word document away here for just a minute. Civil rights movement. So you probably know at least a little bit about the civil rights movement. Struggle for social justice took place mainly during the 50s and 60s. for black individuals, black Americans, to gain equal rights under the law in the United States. The civil rights movement is imperative to understanding the happenings in To Kill a Mockingbird. Period. The Great Depression. So yes, people were sad. Why were they sad? Stock market crash. Not great. We are in this period of recession, time in which people don't have a lot of money. All right, there's some videos here for you to dive into if you would like. It's kind of categorized by year as well. So take a look at the Great Depression history. Okay, write a couple questions about the Great Depression that you could find here within these materials. The Great Migration might be one that you are not as familiar with as these others. The Great Migration was the relocation, quoting from history.com, of more than 6 million African Americans from rural South to the cities of the North, Midwest, and West from 1916 to 1970. 6 million African Americans. If you want to have a multiple choice question right there, how many African Americans relocated during the Great Migration? 6 million African Americans driven from their homes. Economic opportunities, harsh segregation laws. This is something, again, helps us understand the context of the novel. And then lastly, and you're going to be like, Mr. McClung, why are we doing this? Lastly, you're provided with a dictionary definition of the word courage. If you would like, in your quiz, perhaps propose a situation that requires courage. Have courage be the correct answer. Maybe you just want to go with the definition of the word courage. Courage will be a pretty major theme throughout the novel that we were kind of get into with multiple characters. So your 5 topics, again, you're going to write a 5-question multiple choice quiz, are as follows here. Harper Lee, the author. Learn a little bit about her, ask a couple questions about her, or one if you so choose. 2, Civil Rights Movement, very important to understanding the novel. 3, the Great Depression. 4, the Great Migration. And lastly, a theme introduction of courage. You may simply copy and paste these. They'll pop up on a browser. We want to understand some historical context to help us better understand the happenings of the novel. I think you're really, really going to like the novel, folks. And again, this is your virtual and in-class assignment activity for Tuesday, September 29th, and Wednesday, September 30th. Let me know if you have questions. Let's dive into some historical context to help us be prepared on Thursday and Friday of this week to begin To Kill a Mockingbird. All right. This assignment for Green Day, due Wednesday, 11:59 p.m. White Day, Thursday, 11:59 p.m. Deuces.